Let's get you our special from Sri Lanka. The anti-government protesters in Sri Lanka who broke into the embattled president's official residence say they intend to stay put. They are continuing to occupy the Sri Lankan presidential and prime ministerial residences, and they say they'll do so until both leaders officially resign. President Rajapaksa has said that he will step down on the 13th of July, but this is according to an announcement made by the Parliament Speaker on Saturday. The president has not been seen off or made a public statement himself. The Prime Minister says that he will step down. He said he would following Saturday's protests, which also saw his private residence being set on fire. However, protesters are skeptical about the leader's intentions and they're refusing to budge from their occupied spaces. NDTV's Shrija reports from inside the presidential palace on protesters who say they've been gobsmacked at the life of luxury their leaders were leading as citizens fought for fuel and stood in lines for food for weeks now. They say it's finally power to the common man.
This is the presidential palace for you here in Sri Lanka, in Colombo. It's jam-packed. What we see here and spotted was this particular secret bunker, which some of the protesters who have been camping for over 48 hours had discovered. Now, if you once open, you already have one person stepping out. This of course looks like a cupboard, but it is not one, because it opens and it leads to several floors, at least 2 floors down. As you go down, as you just take these stairs to the ground floor, that is to the bottom floor, what we see is that there is one particular door that we spot. Now this, of course, which we understand, though the protesters have managed to break open several doors, managed to destroy several properties inside within the presidential palace, there is one which they could not, of course, dismantle or break open. That is this particular door that you see right here. So this being the secret bunker, which quite a lot of Sri Lankans say that Gotabaya Rajapaksa must have looted their money, could also be hiding back in there, but nobody really knows what's back in that door. It's a working day today, and the crowd that we're witnessing inside the presidential palace is unparalleled. On July 9th, what we did witness was a Sri Lankan uprising. You had people come across the breadth and the length of the country, all converge at Colombo and breach the highly guarded presidential palace. We're going to talk to the people, especially who's been here for over 48 hours, day in and day out, who's been here, who's been volunteering and also trying to tell people how not to really crowd and not to be, create a huge mess. Instead, just ensure that there is free movement of people from one place to the other inside the presidential location, the palace, as they explore and see what it was like when Gotabaya Rajapaksa was living right inside this place. I'm going to go to Nixon. Nixon has been a part of the struggle, for the last 3 to 4 months. And he's been a part of this GGG, which is commonly called as the Gota Gogama. Now, that's the village that was created by the citizens of Sri Lanka for one cause, getting all the people together and demanding that the Rajapaksa clan or the dynasty goes, and so that a new regime comes in place. So we're going to talk to Dixon to understand how has it been like in the last 48 hours or so, what has he seen and what has been conveyed to the public here. Thank you, Nixon. So you have been there at Gota Gogama since April onward, right? How does it really feel, from Gota Gogama to storming the presidential palace?
Yes, we are starting from April 9th. That struggle is coming to the main point, July 9th. We are starting the peaceful struggle. All over the Sri Lankan peoples coming to this place, and we caught the President House and the Secretary Office and the Prime Minister House. This is a people's power, because this is a Rajapaksa and the Gotabaya Rajapaksa until the Rajapaksa. It's total family. They destroy the Sri Lankan. They destroy Sri Lankan business, everything. They struggle. Right now we don't have a gas. Right now we don't have a petrol. Right now we don't have electricity. This is the Rajapaksa family. They destroy all the economic things right now.
I want to understand from you, you have been protesting out there on the street saying there's no fuel, there's no medicines, you're talking about the hardships of citizens of Sri Lanka. Now you have entered the presidential palace. You wouldn't have even thought of, this is definitely a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? Would you ever thought, that you would have entered a presidential palace?
Yeah, so this is very important for the me and the struggle people and all of the Sri Lanka, because more than 75 years they didn't see that palace, because one person and one family and one president, this entire building at least more than 100 square feet acres, 100 acres, one person destroyed all the monies, because everything is people's tax money they are living. This why that people are coming to watch. We got this place until 30th because the Gotabe said he will resign 30th of July. That's why we are still struggling. People stay here this place and fighting, and the court this place until we are waiting to president to go to home. Our main aim is go home. He want to be definitely July 30th. Definitely want to go. Otherwise, people struggle continually. We are going to be starting.
Well, thank you, Nixon, for that. You've been, of course, struggling with the other citizens as well. The 13th will decide. That's going to be the deciding factor for Sri Lanka as a country. What's your good name?
Shahban.
Well, how old are you?
I'm 17.
You're 17 years. Okay. So how long have you been protesting there in the, the tent, the People's Power tent? How long have you been protesting?
I'm protesting on 13 days. Only 13 days, but I have work, I have a family. I want to see my family, but I get time, I will come to the protest.
So you're going to college?
Yeah, I am doing this year all over. This problem I can't do last year. My all over on this year. That's why I come to protest. Then only next generation will happy. We are suffering, but next generation want to be happy. Our sister and brothers, our childs want to be happy. That's why I'm suffering today.
Okay. Well, it is not just the people, the volunteers that we're talking about. There are several other volunteers who are trying to, in fact, tell people not to really be crowding. If I could go across to another person, Aravind, right? Aravind, who's also been protesting with the, the other protesters at Kota Gogama, tells us that this is not really the end until July 13th really comes. So do you have hope, on July 13th that Gotabaya Rajapaksa will resign?
Definitely. There is no question. Definitely.
There's no doubt.
No doubt. There's no question. Definitely he wants to. He wants to go. He wants to resign his post.
Okay. Can you tell us that, is there, you'll are volunteers, you'll are asking people not to crowd. How exactly are you trying to take people through the entire presidential palace?
I want to correct this. We are not volunteers. We are a struggler.
You want to call yourself a struggler?
Yes. From April 9th, we are struggling. I think today, 94 days. 94 days we are struggling for our country. This is the thing. First, I want to show that we want to happen. This is the thing we want to happen. I think all the people who know this thing must. The thing is, firstly, I want to say Gotabaya and Rajapaksa family must be, they want to withdraw all the posts.
You want the Rajapaksa clan to be, going home. That's what you mean. Okay. I see another a person over here. What's your good name? I see that you have been trying to, guide people like stop. What is that you're trying to tell them? You don't want to talk? Okay, that's really bad. I just want to understand what you're trying to tell people here. Like you've stopped them. What were you trying to tell the people?
Be calm, be patient, and...
Is there a lot of crowd? Is the crowd increasing?
Yeah.
The crowd is increasing?
Seems today is big crowd than yesterday. So we hope more people tomorrow.
will come and
Yeah.
take a tour of the
Yeah.
presidential palace.
And we need young, good leadership in our parliament, right? All the oldest people in our country, I don't have any words to say.
Looks like you're very camera shy and not able to talk really much, but you have quite a lot of volunteers here. In fact, these are the volunteers that we're talking about are from, of course, Gota Gogama. That's been, in fact, over the last few months, constantly protesting and demanding that Rajapaksa goes home. They, of course, have hope. But in terms of the presidential palace, where we're starting and reporting from, of course, the crowd is increasing. It's unparalleled. By the day, you have the crowd, in fact, swelling here, taking a tour, exploring what's really inside of this palace. What was it like, for Gotabaya Rajapaksa when he was right here? But the bottom line here is people say that, yes, we want to see what the luxury was like, but eventually they definitely want the Rajapaksas to go home and have a new regime and get their Sri Lanka back. In Colombo with camera person Kumar, Srija for NDTV.
And one of the surprising discoveries from the presidential palace has been the emergence of a secret bunker. And protesters have been trying to breach this secret bunker. They believe that Gotabaya has hidden money in here. Here's Srija's report.
Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's presidential palace has become a tourist spot. In fact, since morning that we have been trying to, see and explore the places along with the citizens here. What we see here and spotted was this particular secret bunker, which, some of the protesters who have been camping for over 48 hours had discovered. Now, if you once open, you already have one person stepping out. This of course looks like a cupboard, but it is not one, because it opens and it leads to several floors, at least 2 floors down. Now, what we are going to do is just to show you like this, which the protesters have termed it as a secret bunker, but there is also a lift that operates through this particular secret bunker. Now, this is something which the Sri Lankan citizens had discovered, along with discovering quite a few places and, being in awe of this particular presidential palace. In fact, we have quite a lot of Sri Lankans, coming in and visiting, taking a look at what really this place looks like and what was the life that Gotabaya Rajapaksa was actually living, while you had Sri Lankans out on the streets protesting, demanding food or medicines, or even for that matter, fuel as well. So this tour has clearly not ended in terms of exploration, and this is yet another floor. Now this particular floor also, in fact, once you step inside, now this was the particular door which we understand the protesters had first discovered. They had broke open this door, and once you look through this entire decor, it is just like a cupboard, but which is not really one, because the protesters, once they try to break open through this particular door, that is the cupboard, which is what we witness, complete a trail of destruction, especially in the presidential palace. When they did that, that is when they discovered this particular secret bunker. But as you go down, as you just take these stairs to the ground floor, that is to the bottom floor, what we see is that there is one particular door that we spot. Now this, of course, which we understand, though the protesters have managed to break open several doors, managed to destroy, several properties inside within the presidential palace, there is one which they could not, of course, dismantle or break open. That is this particular door that you see right here. What several of the protesters, of course, have questioned is what can Gotabaya Rajapaksa be hiding inside this particular door? What could be behind this particular door? Now, that's the question, especially, quite a lot of citizens would like to know, because as and when they're exploring this particular place. But this is not just it. We have seen several, in terms of whether, the piano, whether in terms of the conference room, the swimming pool, so the kitchen. So all of this, now what we see is that the Sri Lankans are having a merry inside the presidential palace. They say this is never in their life have they come across a luxury as big as this. So this being the secret bunker, which quite a lot of Sri Lankans say that Gotabaya Rajapaksa must have looted their money, must have looted their taxpayers, citizens' money, could also be hiding back in there, but nobody really knows what's back in that door. in Colombo inside Presidential Palace with camera person Kumar Shrija for NDTV.
One of the most striking images thrown up over this weekend have been of protesters swimming in the Sri Lankan president's pool after months of angry demands for the president to step down. Once they took over his home, they laughed, took selfies and treated themselves to a swim as they found themselves inside the president's home.
Well, people continue to storm the presidential palace. Now, after the heavily guarded presidential palace was breached by several of the protesters, now it's become a tourist spot. Several of the citizens in Sri Lanka continue to make their visits, day and night, while some of them continue to stay inside of the presidential palace, from enjoying the swimming pool to, playing a piano and then attending press conferences of their own, of the citizens themselves. Now, clearly, the citizens are having a time inside a luxury life, which they call it, which once Gotabaya Rajapaksa had enjoyed in this very location. If I could go across to a few citizens, here in Sri Lanka, what really do they think of in terms of, now getting a chance to explore what presidential palace looks like? We see that Sri Lanka is going through a very difficult situation, but we see also how, after 92 days of protests, people have managed to breach the presidential palace. Now, how does it, what do you make of this?
It's the power of the common people, undoubtedly, because it's the power. That's what made us come here, because normal people would never have access to places like this before. So it's all the power of the common people, the ones, who seemingly are powerless without any access and so on. They're the ones who made this happen. They're the ones who made this possible. Even the ones you've seen outside in Golface, the Gotago Gama, it's all the power of the common. It's everyone united in their clear attempt to let go of the Rajapaksa regime and to bring back new change and new unity to the country. So that's what we have achieved, and that makes me very proud.
So you call this a luxury here?
Undoubtedly. This is not usually accessible to a common person. So there are people with all the fuel crisis and the oil crisis and the gas and all the issues which you undoubtedly know about. They have struggled to make ends meet.
Yes.
Some people struggle even to have a single staple meal once a day. So when you see the kind of luxuries enjoyed by the people in the upper echelons of our country, you can understand obviously the income disparity.
An activist in the official residence of the Prime Minister, Ranil Wickremesinghe, kept their spirits alive by singing songs and clapping.
The Temple Trees, the official residence of Ranil Wickremesinghe, the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. What you see here is the protesters who have breached the Prime Minister's residence. There's songs that's been sung, piano that's been played, and that's a celebration of sorts, because the protesters feel that it's a victory that they're seeing in the next coming days, because 13th July is going to be clearly a big one. The group of protesters, these are especially the common man who have now occupied the Prime Minister's official residence. Of course, this is just right after the presidential secretariat as well, the presidential palace. Now we see even Ranil's home, in fact, Temple Trees being occupied by the common man here. For them, it's all about a victory which they're going to see in the next 2 or 3 days. This is not just the place alone where we understand people are all walking in as tourists, where they're trying to explore what Temple Trees is like and what was Ranil Wickremesinghe enjoying in this particular place, what are the kind of luxuries that he had. And that is something right now is being conquered by the citizens of Sri Lanka at the moment. You have several citizens coming in and, they're dropping in and they're trying to explore this place. it's a 24 hours. It's just open 24 hours, and that's the beauty what you see as far as Sri Lanka is concerned, because they are here to outthrow the two powerful people here, that is Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Ranil Wickremesinghe, that Sri Lankans believe have brought them and forced them to streets today. In fact, this is the main entry to the temple trees, where there is a piano that's been kept. This is the kind of crowd that you are looking at. You know, it's a floating crowd, of course, but of course it's a jam-packed one that we are looking at. So people are exploring and going through different floors of this particular building. They're seeing what are the kind of luxuries that Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe enjoyed during his time, especially here at Temple Trees, of course. This, we see that the people are here to conquer. They say they're going to continue to be here in both the presidential palace as well as the Temple Trees until both Ranil Wickremesinghe steps down as the Prime Minister and Gotabaya Rajapaksa goes home. Now that's the chorus that's growing louder here in the country of Sri Lanka. Now what's more important to note that while the presidential palace has been occupied by the citizens of Sri Lanka, the location has still not been disclosed. The whereabouts of Gotabaya is still not known. And this is the constitutional crisis that we're looking at, which is currently under limbo. It's been taken over by the citizens of Sri Lanka, and the Sri Lankan citizens say that it does not take them too long, however long that is, because it's crossed over 100, it's going to cross at least about 100 days, if at all Gotabaya Rajapaksa, which especially the citizens claim, if that official message has reached Ranil Wickremesinghe that he will resign, the people say that they do not believe in it until it happens on the 13th. And if it happens on the 13th, the Sri Lankans call it the big victory. In Temple Trees, the official residence of Ranil Wickremesinghe in Colombo, with camera person Kumar Srija for NDTV.
And that's not all. Even the police officers who were meant to be preventing and stopping those protesters from reaching the PM's residence were seen exploring it instead.
Well, it is not just an exploration for the common man of Sri Lanka. In fact, including the police officers as well. Some of them are low-rank police officers, some of them inspectors. Now, they too have come in to explore what Temple Trees is like, the official residence of Ranil Wickremesinghe, the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. To give you a view of what's really happened here at the main entrance, once you enter through that main door, the first thing that you see is the furniture that has been completely damaged here. It's wrecked by some of the protesters, and as you walk in, you are seeing another, in terms of people where they're seated, they are playing carom. They are having a clear one, they're enjoying their time here inside the Temple Tree, and as you move forward, you have several people, in fact, clicking selfies because they feel that this is once in a lifetime opportunity for them, because they wouldn't really get a chance like this ever again, where they can enter and explore what the official residence of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe is like. So is this your first time? Have you ever got a chance?
No, I haven't come to Temple Trees.
You haven't come to
No.
Of course, it's not really open to the public, but this is the very first time we see Sri Lankans have united together, and they have breached all the security forces, ensured that they can conquer what the people in power.
Our people, and well done, and to the nation, we did it somehow.
Okay.
Yes, we are proud. Keep it up.
So,
and we have still not finished the war. We are just going to wait till the 13th, till the president declares saying that he has resigned. Or else we don't know what his plan is, so we have to be careful.
Okay, so you've explored through this place?
Yes, it's very nice, and this is the first time I'm coming inside, so I'm seeing a lot of energy. It's beautiful, it's nice. I went even to the presidential secretariat, and it's very nice. It's a big crowd there.
Yes,
yes,
it
yes.
is, of course. A luxury is something that you wouldn't have seen.
I know, it is. I mean, I saw lots of people coming in the trains,
Yeah.
you know, all the way, different from villages, coming for their children and their families to see something which is novel. It's a historical moment for them, you know.
Historical moment, yes.